Chapter One Night Call. It was the middle of the night when Jenny Logan's phone woke her. She was tired and answered the phone sleepily. Logan Grant, here's madam. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, Grant. I hope this is important. I'm at the home of Alex McLennan. He's dead. Give me the address, Grant. I'll be there in 25 minutes. Jenny Logan was an inspector in the Edinburgh police. The phone often woke her at night. She got out of bed and dressed quickly in a blue suit. She looked at herself in the mirror and decided that her short brown hair looked all right by 3:15. She was driving through the streets of Edinburgh. It was December and there was snow on the ground. Prince's Street was empty. She could see Edinburgh Castle high up to her left while she drove. Logan thought about Alex McLennan. The McLennan were famous in Scotland. Murray McLennan, Alex's father, had over 60 fish and chip shops in different Scottish towns and cities. Everyone in Scotland knew McLennan as fish chips, and most people ate them. Murray McLennan had one son, Alex. Murray did not want Alex to go into the family business, so he sent him to an expensive school in Switzerland. Alex went from there to Bristol University in England and then to a business school near Boston in the United States. Learning was important for Alex, but so was having a good time. The Scottish newspapers were full of stories about his life. He was having dinner with film stars in Cannes, or he was having drinks with sports stars in Monte Carlo, or he was dancing with pop stars at a club in Manhattan. Alex knew how to enjoy himself. Then, 6 years ago, Murray McLennan died. Alex came back to Edinburgh. He got married and bought a house. Then he sold all the fish and chip shops, and together with an old school friend, Ian Ross, he opened an expensive restaurant in Edinburgh. Logan drove into Polwarth Gardens and stopped outside Alex McLennan's house. Logan didn't come to tell. A rich area of the city like this very often. She usually spent more time in the dirtier, poorer areas. Alex McLennan House was large and more than 100 years old. It was Sergeant Grant who opened the front door. He was 58 and usually he looked young for his age. Tonight, he was looking old and tired. "Hello, madam. Come in." He spoke. "Where's the body, Grant?" "On the first floor in the bathroom." "The bathroom? Okay, let's go and have a look." "What do you know so far?" asked Logan. They started to climb the stairs. "Well, madam, Mr. McLennan went to have a bath, probably at about 11 o'clock. He usually has a bath at about that time," began Grant. "I see Mrs. McLennan was already in bed." Grant said, "She says she fell asleep at about 10:30 and didn't hear her husband come up. Anyway, she woke up at 130 and he wasn't in bed. She thought this was strange, so she got up and went to look for him. She couldn't find him, but the bathroom door was locked." "Did she try and get in?" asked Logan. "Yes. She tried to break the door open, but she couldn't, so she called her brother. He came round, broke open the door, and they found Mr. McLennan dead on the bathroom floor. Finished. Grant." Grant and Logan arrived at the bathroom. The walls were black. The bath basin and toilet were white. The floor was black and white. Alex McLennan's body was on the floor. There was a blue towel over his body. You say someone locked the door on the inside? Asked Logan. That's right, madam, Grant answered. Grant showed Logan the broken wood. Has the doctor seen the body? Asked Logan. Yes, madam. He left just before you arrived. So how did he die then? Asked Logan, looking down at Alex McClellan's body. A broken neck. The doctor says. Looks like the floor was wet. He fell, hit the side of the bath and of Alex McClellan. Logan looked at the body more closely and then looked around the room. The floor was wet, but not very wet. The bath was empty. Alex McClellan's body was dry. The towel was dry too. What about the window? Asked Logan. I thought about that, said Grant. It's closed, but not locked. Logan walked across the room and opened the window. She put her head outside and looked down. It was about 6 meters to the ground, not far right. Said Logan, get the scientists here. I wanted to look everywhere in this room very carefully. They must look at the window and the wall outside, and at the ground outside, too. Okay, madam, said Grant. Now, where are the family and how are they? Well, there's only Mrs. McClellan and her brother, Grant answered. Logan went down to the living room. A man and a woman were sitting next to each other on the sofa. The woman was probably in her late 20s, but it was difficult to tell because she was crying. She had red hair and was wearing night clothes. Mrs. McClellan, I'm Inspector Logan of the Edinburgh Police, said Logan. I'm very sorry about your husband. Thank you, Inspector, the woman answered. The man stood up. He was tall and dark, and he looked strong. He was wearing a black jogging suit, and he needed a shave. Good morning, Inspector. I'm Donald Johnstone, Alice's brother. Hello, Mr. Johnstone. I know this is a terrible time for you both, but I'm afraid I have to ask you some questions. Must you ask Johnstone? Look at my sister. She's crying. Can't you wait? Mr. Johnstone, a man has died, said Logan. I'm a police officer. I need to find some answers. It's all right, Donald, said Alice McClellan. She turned to Logan. I understand, Inspector. Please ask your questions, but be quick, said Johnstone. Mrs. McClellan, what time did your husband usually have a bath? Asked Logan. Well, he usually went upstairs at about 11, had a bath, and then came to bed. Alice McClellan answered when I woke up at about 130 and he wasn't in bed. I went to look for him. Johnstone spoke. She called me when she couldn't open the bathroom door. I came as quickly as I could. We broke into the bathroom and found Alex's body. We've told the sergeant this already. Logan moved across the room and looked at a photograph of Alice and Alex McClellan on the day they married. They looked good together. Did your husband have any problems, Mrs. McClellan? Asked Logan. I mean, business problems. No, I don't think so. Ian Ross took care of the business. Really? Alex brought his friends to the restaurant so that other people wanted to eat there. Logan remembered why people went to McClellan Restaurant. It wasn't cheap, but when you went there, you almost always saw someone famous. So if I want to find out more about the restaurant, I need to talk to Mr. Ross. Logan said, Yes, that's probably best, Alice McClellan answered. Mrs. McClellan asked Logan quietly, Were you happily married? Alice McClellan looked up quickly at Logan. Johnstone stood up angrily. Now look here, Inspector. You can't come round here asking questions like that. I must ask you to leave. Please leave now." Logan looked hard into Johnstone's eyes, but she spoke to Mrs. McLennan. "Mrs. McLennan," she said softly, "I'm sorry to say this, but it is possible someone killed your husband." "You mean," began Mrs. McLennan, but she put her hand to her mouth and stopped speaking. "Yes," said Logan, turning to her. "I'm not sure at the moment if it was murder or not." She turned back to Johnstone. "So, I need answers to difficult questions, Mr. Johnstone. Inspector, you can't really think that Alice," or I started Johnstone. Logan put up a hand to stop him speaking. "Mr. Johnstone," she said, "I don't think anything at the moment. Now, what were you doing when your sister phoned?" "I was in bed asleep, of course," said Johnstone in a quiet, angry voice. "With your wife?" "No. Actually, my wife and children are away at the moment. They're staying with my wife's parents until Christmas. So, there was nobody there at all except you?" Logan asked quietly. "That's right." Logan looked at Johnstone for some time without speaking. Then she told them both she would like to speak to them again later. Was this murder or not? Logan asked herself. She knew something wasn't right. She knew there was more to find out. Chapter 2, Ian Ross. "Do you really think this is murder?" asked Grant as they sat in Logan's office back at the London Road police station. "I don't know," answered Logan, "but I know this. I don't like Mr. Johnstone, and I don't believe Mrs. McLennan. She hasn't told us everything about her and her husband." Grant drank his coffee, and Logan looked out of the window. Logan spoke again. "We won't hear from the scientists until later today. Before then, I want you to find out about Mr. Johnstone. What's his problem? Why is he so unfriendly?" "Right, madam." "Agreed, Grant. I'll meet you back here at 3 o'clock. I'm going to talk to Ian Ross about the restaurant. Perhaps I'll get a free lunch. Police officers never get a free lunch." "Madam." Logan left the police station and drove back to her flat to shower, put on some clean clothes, and have something to eat. Logan lived in Leith, in the north of Edinburgh by the sea, many years ago. Leith was busy. Lots of boats came in and out every day. These days there are few boats and many of. The old buildings were now flats for the young people of Edinburgh. Logan was only 28, but she did not feel young this morning when she thought about murder. She always felt old as Logan drove along Princes Street. There was a loud noise. It came from Edinburgh Castle, Logan's favorite building in the city. The noise was the sound of the 1 o'clock gun on the castle walls every day at 1 o'clock. You can hear the gun. Logan turned right at the end of Princes Street and drove up to Charlotte Square. The restaurant was on the west side of the square. It was called Charlotte's. Logan left her car and went in. It was busy inside. A waiter walked up to Logan. "Can I help you, madam?" he asked. "I'd like to see Ian Ross, please. He doesn't see anyone when the restaurant's open." "I'm afraid, madam. I'm Inspector Logan, Edinburgh Police." He spoke. "Right. Will you follow me, please?" The man showed Logan into a small O-face at the back of the restaurant and left her there. A few moments later, another man came in. The man was tall, with very short blonde hair and a small blonde mustache. He was in his early 30s and looked strong. Inspector, this is terrible news about Alex. Terrible news. He was a wonderful man, a real friend. Now then, how can I help you? Logan looked at him. Mr. Ross, she asked. Logan took out her ID card and showed it to the man. Yes. Sorry. Didn't I say Ian Ross? Pleased to meet you. Ross smiled at her. Mr. Ross, we're not sure how Mr. McLennan died at the moment. Yes, Alice told me. We spoke on the phone this morning, said Ross. I'm just asking a few questions so I can find out a little more about him, said Logan. Of course. Please ask anything you like. Well, when did you first meet Mr. McLennan? Asked Logan. Oh, years ago, answered Ross. We went to school together when we were young. Then he went to Switzerland and traveled all over the world. And what about you? She asked. I stayed here until I was 16. Then I joined the army, became a soldier, and traveled the world, too, said Ross. Did you see each other often? Asked Logan. No, not often, he said. But if we were both in Edinburgh at the same time, we always got together. When did you start this place? About 5 years ago, said Ross. I left the army and came back here. I didn't have a job. Alex was back from the States. We spent a lot of time together and decided to start Charlotte. He had the money and the famous friends. I did the work. Ross laughed, but Logan saw that his eyes were not smiling. Is the restaurant making money? Asked Logan. Yes. As you can see, we're very busy. We're always very busy. The restaurant is doing very well. You must earn a lot then. Did you each take half of the money, or? No. If you must know, Alex paid me. I'm the manager, but I don't see how this is important. I don't know if it is important, Mr. Ross. Tell me, were you here last night? Yes, Inspector, until about 11. Then I went home. I usually stay later. But yesterday I was tired. I went home and went to bed early. Do you live by yourself, Mr. Ross? Yes. So, Logan thought to herself, no one knows if you were at home or not. She spoke again. How well do you know Alice McLennan? Now, wait a minute, Inspector. If you think Alice and I... He stopped. Logan looked at Ross. I don't think anything, Mr. Ross. Like I said, I just ask questions. Asked. Chapter 3, Help from Friends. When Logan got back to London Road Police Station, Grant was waiting for her. He had some interesting news. Donald Johnstone has many problems and not much money, Grant said. Really? Said Logan. Tell me more. For years ago, he borrowed money from the bank. He started a used car business, said Grant. I thought selling used cars made good money, said Logan, smiling. Not now, said Grant. The price of new cars has fallen, so used cars are cheaper to businesses. Bad for Johnstone, and he keeps his cars in the West End, near Prince's Street. That's expensive, said Logan. Very expensive, said Grant. Most car sales are outside the city, so how bad is it? Asked Logan. Very bad, Grant said. He borrowed $200,000 from the bank. Now they want the money back. Can he pay it? Logan asked. No, said Grant, but he owns a nice house near his sister. If he doesn't pay soon, the bank will take the house. His wife won't like that, said Logan. No, said Grant. Maybe he's hoping his sister will help him now, said Logan. Yes, said Grant. She has a lot of money. After her husband's death. Logan looked at Grant. He had thick black hair and a large mustache. His jacket and trousers were old. He didn't look like a policeman, but he was very good at finding information. Well done, Grant, said Logan, smiling. Where did you learn all this? Oh, here and there, said Grant. My cousin is a good friend of Johnstone's wife. Logan laughed. Just then the phone rang. Grant answered. He listened for a long time. Then he thanked the caller and put the phone down. That was Dr. Forbes, said Grant. The scientists are finished. McLennan died between 11:30 and 12:30. His neck was broken. They don't know if it was murder. We knew that, said Logan. Anything else? They found small pieces of black cloth. One was on the window lock. One was on the wall outside the bathroom. The cloth probably came from somehow. Knees, clothes. They looked at each other. It is murder, isn't it? Said Grant. Yes, said Logan. I don't think someone climbed into the bathroom just to have a shower. Logan sent Grant to Polwarth Gardens. She told him to check if the black cloth came from any of Alex or Alice's clothes. He must bring any black or dark blue clothes to the scientists after Grant left. Logan wanted to learn more about the McLennan marriage. She could phone people, but she liked talking face to face. She put on her coat and went out on a London road. She walked up Lee Street and turned into Princess Street. Princess Street is unusual. Shops are only on one side. She could phone people, but she liked talking face to face. She put on her coat and went out on a London road. She walked up Lee Street and turned into Princess Street. Princess Street is unusual. Shops are only on one side. She walked up the mound looking at the tall old buildings. One side of Princess Street is called the Old Town. The other side, even though it is 200 years old, is called the New Town. Soon she turned left into the Scottish Daily News building. She went upstairs to the newsroom. It was full of journalists. A short man with red hair and glasses looked up from his work. Well, Ginny Logan, said the man. Nice to see you. You're just in time to buy me a Christmas drink. Okay, Tam, said Logan, smiling. But you must work for it. I want some information. Oh, Inspector, you think I'll tell you everything just because I like you? He laughed. Come on, Tam, let's go, said Logan. A few minutes later, Logan and Tam were sitting in Deacon Brody's, a famous old pub. What do you know about the McLennan, Tam? Asked Logan. Not much more than you, said Tam. Alex came back from America. He married a beautiful red-headed actress. He opened a restaurant. He had lots of money, many famous friends, and a big house. Well, he had all these things until last night. Yes, I know that. I read it in the papers. But what else do you know? What don't you write? Asked Logan. Tam finished his drink and looked at his empty glass. I get thirsty when I talk, he said. Logan smiled and went to the bar to buy more drinks. As she waited, she looked at Tam. He was looking out the window at the shoppers. It was strange to be friends. A journalist and a police officer. But Logan liked Tam a lot. She knew he liked her too. When Logan came back with the drinks, Tam started talking again. Everyone thought the McLennan had a perfect life, said Tam. The restaurant was busy. Famous people were there. Alice always smiled. But asked Logan, for the last 18 months, something changed, said Tam. They weren't happy. How do you know? Asked Logan. Little things, said Tam, but someone heard them shouting one night later. Alice went on holiday without Alex. She stopped coming to the restaurant. In the old days, they were always together, but lately they were not. Do you think Alice had a lover? Or Alex? Asked Logan. Maybe, said Tam. But if anyone had a lover, it was Alice. Alex was always busy at the restaurant or at home. Did you try to find out? Asked Logan. Of course, said Tam, laughing. We are journalists, Tam continued. One of our men followed her, but he lost her twice, both times on Thursday evening. So, you never found out if there was another man? Asked Logan. No, said Tam. We tried, but we had other stories to follow. Thank you, Tam, said Logan. You gave me good information. That was very kind. Tam smiled, put his hand on hers, and said, I am a very kind man, Jenny. Logan. Then he asked, so was it murder? And who did it? Logan laughed. Tam's hand was warm, but she slowly moved hers away. I don't know who did it yet, she said, but it was murder. You can write that if you want. Well, said Tam. Thanks, Jenny. Yes, said Logan. And because you're so kind, when I know who did it, I'll tell you first. Tam smiled at her. Logan left Tam at Deegan Brody's. She took out her phone and called Grant. It was time to find out the real truth about the McLennan marriage. Chapter for Alice McLennan. Logan returned to the McLennan house. Grant opened the door. Johnstone has gone home, he said. I didn't tell him you were coming. Good, said Logan. Did you find any black clothes? Only Alex's black pullover and trousers. Mrs. McLennan has no dark clothes, said Grant. Interesting, said Logan. Maybe she wore her husband's clothes. Send them to the scientists. Alice McLennan stood behind a desk when they entered Inspector Logan. What can I do for you? She spoke. I need to ask more questions. Said Logan. Of course. Please sit down. Said Alice. They sat. I have no black clothes, said Alice. I hope Alex will be happy with gray. I'm sure he will, said Logan. Logan looked at the fine old furniture. What happens to this house and money? Asked Logan. I get everything except the restaurant, said Alice. Not the restaurant. No, Alex and Ian owned it. 50-50. Now Ian and I each get half. Did Mr. Ross know? Yes, said Alice. Logan asked carefully, were Alex and Ian still good friends? Ian did all the work. Alex was famous. How did Ian feel? Alice looked away. I don't know. I don't go there much. You didn't answer my morning question, said Logan. What question? Were you and your husband happily married? Of course, said Alice. I don't believe you, said Logan. Alice started crying. No, we weren't happy, she said. We were happy at first. Then Alex spent all his time at the restaurant. I felt bored and angry. Were you angry before he died? No, things were getting better. 6 months ago, Alex promised to spend more time with me. Did you have a lover? asked Logan. Alice looked straight at her. No, she said. No, Inspector, she repeated. Logan stood up. Thank you. I hope I won't need more questions, she said outside. Then Alex spent all his time at the restaurant. I felt bored and angry. Were you angry before he died? No. Things were getting better. 6 months ago, Alex promised to spend more time with me. Did you have a lover? Asked Logan. Alice looked straight at her. No, she said. No, Inspector, she repeated. Logan stood up. Thank you. I hope I won't need more questions, she said outside. Was it luck or something else? She decided to question him next. Chapter 5. Two Angry Men. Logan called Donald Johnstone's house. He answered. She said nothing and put the phone down. 5 minutes later, she reached his house. Johnstone opened the door. He wore a dark suit and black tie. Yes, Inspector, he said. I want to ask a few questions, said Logan. I am busy. Johnstone said, you can talk now for 10 minutes or come to the police station, said Logan. Johnstone opened the door wider. Come in. Be quick, he said. They went to the living room. Johnstone stood behind a chair. How is your business? Asked Logan. Fine, said Johnstone. I heard it's not, said Logan. It's a small problem. It will get better after New Year, he said. I think your bank won't wait, said Logan. My manager agreed to wait until January. Said Johnstone, you have a nice house. You don't want to lose it, said Logan. I won't lose it, Johnstone said angrily. Maybe now your sister can help you, said Logan. Johnstone's face turned dark red. You think I killed Alex? He shouted. Get out. Logan left the house. She sat in her car. It was snowing. Was Johnstone angry because of business, or was it something worse? She could not remember what clothes he wore in the morning. She decided to go back to the police station while driving. She thought about Ian Ross. Now Ross owned half the restaurant. Some people killed for a lot less. At the station, she found Grant Ross hated McLennan, said Grant. You had a good visit, said Logan, smiling. Yes. Ross was out. The staff talked to me, said Grant. One waitress, Isabel Ferguson, told me a lot. She worked there from the start. At first the restaurant was fun. Alice, and Ross joked and laughed. But now, asked Logan, now it is bad. Alice never comes. Alex changed. Ross stays in the kitchen, said Grant. What happened? Asked Logan. Money problems? Said Grant. Alex made lots of money, but paid Ross the same. Ross was not happy. Did he say to anyone? No, but I heard Ross and Alex shouting in the office one night. Logan thought for a moment. We must check Ross more carefully, she said. Yes, madam, said Grant. He was in the army. Find me a number tomorrow. Now go home, said Logan. Grant agreed. Logan left the station. She bought food and went home. She made a sandwich and drank some Pepsi. She thought, did Alice have a lover? Why was Johnstone so angry? Was he at home when Alice called? Did he need money so badly? Her last thought was about Ian Ross. She needed to learn more tomorrow. 6. Blood on their hands. Early in the morning, Grant called Logan. I found someone who knows Ian Ross. He said his name is Major James Innes. Meet him at the Royal Scots Club at 11. At 10:45, Logan walked down Queen Street. The weather was very cold. She wore a thick coat, a scarf, and a hat. Her nose was red. She kept her hands in her pockets. The Royal Scotch Club was across the gardens. It was a hotel and meeting place for many people, not just old soldiers. Major Innes waited for Logan near the office. He sat by a warm fire. He had short white hair and wore an army tie. "Good morning, Inspector," he said. "How well did you know Ross?" asked Logan. "Very well," said Innes. "He was one of my men. A good soldier, strong and smart." "Where did you work together?" asked Logan. "I can't say," said the major. "We were in the SAS. We cannot talk about our work." Logan knew the SAS were the best soldiers. They worked in dangerous places. "I didn't know Ross was SAS," said Logan. The fire was warm, but Logan felt cold. She said Major Ross and McLennan had a restaurant together. Now McLennan is dead. "Do you think Ross killed him?" asked the major. "Did Ross kill people in the army?" asked Logan. "Yes," said Innes. "He killed when he had to. But soldiers don't kill friends." Logan thanked the major and left outside. She took a taxi to London Road. She got coffee and sat in her office. Children were playing in the snow outside. Then her phone rang. "Logan," she said. It was Tam. "Hi, Jenny," said Tam. "I have something for you." "What is it?" asked Logan. "Do you know Johnstone almost killed a man 3 years ago?" "What?" said Logan. Tam explained. A man named Neil Erskine tricked Johnstone into buying 3 stolen cars. Later, Johnstone saw him again in Glasgow. He and his friends beat him badly. The man spent 3 months in the hospital. Even now, he cannot walk well. "Neil Erskine's real name is Neil Gordon," said Tam. "He didn't tell the police because he was afraid." Tam added. Logan listened carefully. She knew Johnstone got angry quickly, but now she knew he could really hurt people. "Thanks, Tam," said Logan. "You help a lot." Logan thought deeply. She watched the children building a snowman. Then a new idea came in her mind. She thought about it carefully. After some time, the 1 o'clock gun sounded. Grant came in. "Come in, Grant," she said. "I have an idea." It took 20 minutes to explain her plan. Then they started preparing. Logan called Alice McLennan. She said she would visit her soon. Logan stood up. "Get 3 officers. I will see you in half an hour," she told Grant. Chapter 7, Catching a Murderer. At 5:30 in the evening, Logan followed Alice McLennan into her living room. They sat down. "You said you need my help," said Alice. "But I already told you everything I know," said Logan. "But I want you to do something. It may help catch your husband's murderer." Alice looked worried. "Do you think it was someone I know?" she asked. "Maybe," said Logan. "It's hard, but it is likely." Alice stood up and walked to the window. Then she sat down again. "Who do you think it is?" she asked. 2 people had reasons," said Logan. "Ian Ross hated Alex. Your brother needs money. Now you are rich." Alice nodded sadly. "What do you want me to do?" she asked. "Phone Ross and your brother. Tell them, Mr. Fraser, A neighbor saw someone climbing into your bathroom that night. Tell them the police artist will draw a picture tomorrow. And you think the murderer will visit? Mr. Fraser asked Alice. Yes, said Logan. We will be ready. Alice thought for a while. Then she smiled a little. I was an actress before I married Alex, she said. I know, said Logan. Alice picked up the phone. Hardin Place was a small street near Paulworth Gardens. Number 8 had a small front garden and a red door inside. Sergeant Grant sat in the living room by the fire. He wore old clothes and smoked a cigarette. He read a newspaper. It was 11 o'clock at night. It was very quiet. 3 doors led from the living room in the front room. The lights were off. 3 police officers and Inspector Logan were hiding there. They watched Grant through a small open door. Grant looked at the clock now and then. Smoke from his cigarette moved slowly. Suddenly cold air came in. Grant put down his newspaper very quietly. A door opened behind him. A tall man, dressed in black, entered. He wore a black hat over his head and face. Only his eyes showed he had a knife. Grant stood up quickly. The man spoke in a low voice. You think you saw me? You think I can tell the police? I can't let you. He moved towards Grant. Now, shouted Logan. She and the officers ran into the room, but they were too late. The man grabbed Grant. He held the knife at Grant's throat. A little blood ran down Grant's neck. Don't come near, or I'll kill him, shouted the man. Drop the knife. You can't escape, said Logan calmly. Move away from the door. The man screamed. Nobody moved. Then Logan said, It's over, Ross. That's Sergeant Grant, not Mr. Fraser. The man hesitated. The knife moved away a little. Grant was ready. His elbow hit the man hard in the stomach. The man dropped the knife and fell to the floor. Grant picked up the knife quickly. Logan pulled off the black hat. That's Sergeant Grant, not Mr. Fraser. The man hesitated. The knife moved away a little. Grant was ready. His elbow hit the man hard in the stomach. The man dropped the knife and fell to the floor. Grant picked up the knife quickly. Logan pulled off the black hat. He loved showing off. I hated him. I wanted him dead. Did you know you would get half the restaurant after he died? Asked Logan. Sometimes I believed it, said Ross. Sometimes I didn't, but it was not important. I just hated him. So, you climbed into the bathroom and killed him? Said Logan. Yes, said Ross. I waited behind the door. When he came in, I killed him. Logan spoke to the officers. Take Ross to the station. Change his clothes. Send these ones to the scientists. Then she turned to Grant. Grant, come with me, she said. Chapter 8. The Last Pieces. When they got outside, Logan and Grant walked round to Alice McClellan's house in Paulworth Gardens. Alice McClellan opened the door. Well, she asked in a quiet and rather sad voice. It was Ian Ross, said Logan. Some officers are taking him to the London Road police station right now. Alice McClellan put her hand up to her mouth. Oh no, Ian, she said. How terrible. Are you sure? Yes. He's told us everything. Well, almost everything. Alice McClellan looked at Logan strangely. Almost everything. What do you mean, Inspector? She asked. Well, there's one thing he didn't tell us. He didn't tell us how long you and he were lovers. I was hoping you could tell us that. Come in. Inspector, said Alice McLennan. Let's talk inside. It's warmer. They went into Alice McLennan's living room and sat down. What I told you before was true. Alex and I were happily married until he started the restaurant began. Alice McLennan, I told you we had some problems then, but I couldn't tell you. Alice McLennan began to cry quietly. Go on, said Logan softly. It started about 18 months ago. Alex was spending all his time at the restaurant. I knew Ian was interested in me, so I asked him round here. One day when Alex was away and you became lovers,